Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So recently I sold some figures and I had the Armory Batman by Hot Toys, the Dark Knight figure, and then recently I got the DX19, and I wasn't in love with the DX19 from the moment I got it, but I did prefer the DX19 cowl, faceplates, eyes, that's what you're looking at here, but I kept the Armory neck and suit, so this body and suit is the Armory version. That may very well be the DX19 belt, and it has a custom cape, which is a nice length because it's that kind of, fighting length cape where it doesn't trail around his feet and he'd be tripping up over it. Let me just turn the brightness up a little bit here. I have to keep it nice and moody for the Dark Knight. You can see the light catching his eyes there. So I'm going to go into more detail for you now on what this is, but this is basically, until I like to think inevitably go to OT Customs to get this looking a lot better, I am really satisfied with how he's looking at the moment. When they were side by side, because I thought about it a long time and I really looked at them both closely, I just preferred everything about the Armory suit and body. I am using Medicom boots, which I'll show you them close up in a minute. And I did a little trick because one of my good friends, Carl, his channel and Instagram page is called Toys of Arkham, and when he reviewed the DX19 he mentioned that he actually preferred the DX19 stock cape because when it plugged into the shoulder area there, it didn't lie as ridiculously thin on the shoulders as a lot of the custom capes do. And in the movie, Carl is right, there is a little bit more kind of thickness to the cape as it comes over the shoulders there. So I'm using a thin custom cape, but I've literally just put a little bit of padding, folded up some tissue and put it under, well, kitchen towel to be exact, it's a bit thicker than tissue, but I just put that underneath where the cape lies as it plugs into the shoulders, and it's giving the custom cape a little bit more volume and making it look a bit thicker in that area. And with the DX19 there was this situation that happened straight away where I had to keep kind of pushing the chest plate and holding it at the back and kind of pushing the head and neck down into the body and pushing the chest plate up to make the neck look not as long as it was appearing on the DX19. I much prefer this because I just think the neck looks thicker and it looks the right length now. I'll show you the side profile, get him turning on a rotating base for you. Again, I know that the OT Customs head sculpt and neck and the smaller shoulder pads is going to make it look so much better. I hope OT, he's so busy, so I've been afraid to even approach him lately because I know he's just absolutely snowed under with orders and stuff for the Batman Begins and the Dark Knight figures. But until I managed to get that sorted, this is a beautiful 1/6 scale Dark Knight now. The neck is nice and thick and looks a good length. And everything to me anyway, I'm no expert on this suit, I've never been a biggest fan of this suit, I much prefer the Begins one. But I do want a nice representation of it in 1/6 scale. And I think I'm pretty happy with how this is looking. Alright, now here are the boots I'm using. And they are from the Medicom Dark Knight figure, which came out a long time ago. And it's very hard to come by these days. But there is no separation like with the Hot Toys DX19, and the Armory one I think also had the same setup. It's great for articulation, but it doesn't look accurate to the movie because it's got a cut at the ankle there to allow for the posability. So the Medicom is one solid sculpt. It's like a kind of vinyl material, kind of soft but not very soft. It's quite tough, very durable, and very accurate. So I definitely prefer the Medicom Dark Knight boots on this figure. I've also got the grapnel gun attached to the back of his bat belt, utility belt, which is a really nice touch. It's nice to know that it's back there. So I'm just going to try and show you. It's difficult with these big Canon cameras. It's a lot easier to do this close-up stuff with the phone, but you can see what I'm talking about there with the padding, just to make the the cape look a little bit more chunky as it goes over his shoulder. You get the idea. Alright, now here the figure is on the rotating base, and one thing that I really liked about this combination as well was there wasn't a big gap between the chin and the neck that you get. I mean, you can see a slight one there, and you know, a little transition at the back, but it doesn't look too far off what you see on the front cover of this steelbook. You know, proportions and the way everything's kind of coming together. I know you can't really see much from here, but I'm really happy with the results. Transition between cowl and neck is decent. The neck doesn't appear too long anymore. I love the way the cape looks on the figure. There's definitely a few little areas, like with the OT Customs changeover of the shoulder pads. These are a bit oversized on the Hot Toys figures, and that situation with the elbow guard overlapping onto the, you know, the side of the armor there, overlaps on this side too, which is just ridiculous. I mean, they really need to sort that out. But I'll think about that in the future. Maybe OT Customs will come up with a solution. Maybe I'll come up with something myself just to make it look a little bit better, but it's something for another time. Requires some time and thought, some R&D. Medicom boots being one solid sculpt, he always stands up really well. Let me just lift the cape up here and turn the boots around. What's the tread situation? It says Medicom Toy 2008 DC Comics. So I don't know if you just saw any of that. Hang on. You see? Yeah, good tread. It says Medicom Toy 2008. So this came out the same year the Dark Knight came out. Well, the boots did. The Medicom Dark Knight figure. You probably can't even really see because it's so dark, but in person, this looks incredibly realistic. Like a lot of those scenes when he was out at night in the Dark Knight, and they'd always manage to light his eyes, just a little glint of light. You can see it there, just how the light's just catching his eyes a little bit. It's hard to get it to focus because it's so dark. Most of the light is behind him, but I just think the proportions, it just looks really realistic. The figures come together really well. Right, so this is the DX19 belt, and it's fantastic. But then I found some other ones, some older ones from older figures. I did think this was actually from a Batman Begins figure because of the phone on the back here from when he calls Alfred in Batman Begins after he gets hit with the fear toxin on the rooftop. And he's in deep doo-doo, he needs help. But this actually came with the Medicom Dark Knight. So it is actually, you know, as far as Medicom are concerned, this is the belt from the Dark Knight. I heard rumours that the Dark Knight Medicom figure was actually scanned, you know, they made it so accurate looking because it was an incredibly accurate suit. Oh god, I wish I still had that suit. I don't know what the hell I did with it. I've still got the Medicom head sculpt and boots, obviously, because I'm using the boots on this. Do still have the head sculpt, but nothing else really. I do have the hands, all the hands, but just no body. So that's a real shame, and I don't remember selling it or swapping it or anything. It's gone. But the tone on this belt is just maybe a little bit too gold, a little bit too intense, but it's a really nice belt by Medicom. It's just one piece. I remember you have to kind of just wiggle it down his legs. It's just kind of a bendy one piece situation, but a really nice belt. But to me it just seems more Batman Begins because of that phone, because I checked on the back of the Dark Knight here, and the only thing on the back of his belt here is the section to attach the grapnel gun. And then I found this belt, which is the Takara Batman Begins belt. I'm pretty sure it's definitely Batman Begins because it's got the section here for the batarangs to clip into, and the mobile phone again from Batman Begins. But I actually, even though it's, you know, it's obviously for Batman Begins, I really like the tone of goldish bronze that's on this particular belt. I think it would look really nice on this figure because I saw a particular bit of footage. I'm not sure if it was from the Dark Knight or the Dark Knight Rises. It was behind the scenes and Christian Bale was just in, looked like just a big porta cabin on the set of the movie where they just do costume stuff,
and he was fully dressed up as the Dark Knight. He was in the bat suit, but he didn't have the cowl. Actually, I think he was taking the cowl off, and then you could see that kind of mesh that goes around his head. It looked really uncomfortable, but I got a good look at the belt in that little moment behind the scenes, and it just, as soon as I saw that belt in that moment, I thought of this Takara belt and thought that looks a lot like the tone of this one. So I might try that one day, putting that on him, even though it's more of a Batman Begins belt, but I just really like that tone of gold. What do you think? The difference? It's definitely a difference. I just think this is a little bit closer to how it really is.
Just going through the one of the Dark Knight trilogy books I have. I do have the manual that has all the close-ups of the actual gear. Just wanted to point out one of these pictures. That elbow pad should be either glued down or whatever that is, but it does seem like on the actual suit in the movie it was kind of like a soft rubberish material or something, because you can see how it's bending there, because obviously his arm's bent, but it is still attached to the suit. But there seems to be a little, I don't know if I can show you, seems to be a little bit there, I don't know what you'd call that technically, but a little pocket where it's not quite stuck down, but it is stuck down at the edge of the end. Also, I was noticing how much wider the mouth area looks on the cowl here, but that could very well be down to the position of the head, how he's kind of, leaning forward and looking down. I'm sure that would distort the cowl as he's doing that. But I saw that and I thought that looks a lot wider than the DX19 mouth thingy. Also, I'm just looking to check out the tone of the belt. That's what I'm going. That's why I started looking through the book, because like I said, I really like the tone of this Medicom one in comparison to the one that's on the, it's almost like a kind of urine stain kind of colour on this one. This is just really, really nice tone wise. I wish this was a Dark Knight style belt, because this would be the one to use from the looks of things. But I'm going to keep looking for reference pictures. Here's a good one in the daylight as well. See, just looks a bit more like the tone of the Takara belt to me. Let's lift you off here for a minute, buddy. Yeah, just way darker. I've got a lot of light on the figure at the moment. It's very brightly lit, but you can see it's just seems to be way lighter. It's in daylight there, or evening, dusk or whatever. But I'm just exploring, folks. Don't come down on me too hard for anything I'm saying. Get back on there. Get back on your base, you son of a... Ooh, there's a good one. That's from The Dark Knight Rises. Ah, damn it, my grapnel gun is in the completely wrong place. That's where it should be for the Dark Knight, hanging by his side there. And that is not where mine is. Mine is more of a Batman Begins position, like right at the back, just kind of on its side. So I'm going to need to figure out how to do that. I think the quarter scale Hot Toys Dark Knight that I have has that set up, possibly. It's been a while. Something does. I remember having that set up on one of my Batman figures from the trilogy, but yeah, I'll figure that out. I'll get to it. But look at this picture from The Dark Knight Rises. I reckon they changed tones again, went more to a darker tone like they had in Batman Begins, because that definitely seems darker than the belt in The Dark Knight. They did change some stuff for Dark Knight Rises, didn't they? I mean, the neck always seems a little bit thicker. Look at the beautiful contrast between the jet black cape and the more kind of charcoal tone of the suit. And recently, just today, we got some new pictures of the new Hot Toys DX Joker, and the hair did look a bit better on display with the prototype, I guess. But they definitely need to sort out the tone of the purple coat. It's quite dark here on camera, but I'll just turn it up a bit for you. It's just a beautiful, vibrant purple, and it's not like that on the figure that's coming out. It's a very kind of, instantly I saw it, a very kind of weak, meek, kind of just purple, faded kind of tone to it. and it should be more like this. I'm going to look at some more pictures, but I really hope they sort out the tone of the jacket. I very much doubt they will, but believe me folks, if they did, we'd have a hell of it. It's always something, man. It's always something. Why can't they just sit down, look at, I mean, it's just a book. I got the book, you got the book, we've all got the damn book. Just look at the book. You got the pictures. It's all here. I'm trying to find stuff that's not so much stills from the movie, but more just natural pictures on set. I'm looking for the purple coat of the Joker. Oh man, that moment. Batman Begins. So sick. This would be great for someone to print out bigger. You could use it in your detolfs for a Batman Begins display. It's just the set from the movie. The Narrows. That would be really good. Alright, there's a picture from The Dark Knight. And again, I have to say, I think the tone of the Dark Knight belt is lighter than the one they used in Batman Begins and The Dark Knight Rises. Hot Toys need to make this. You really, 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 really need to make this. I would buy this so fast. Oh man, that would just be a really cool display. Also, if you're like me, sometimes when you're looking at your custom or your customized Batman Begins 1/6 scale figure with your custom cowls and your custom capes, sometimes you'll look at the cape clips being slightly raised off the suit and you think, damn it, how can I get that to lie flush? Well, apparently it's not supposed to. It is slightly raised off the suit itself. Now I'm struggling to find pictures that aren't, nighttime artificial lighting and stuff, but the coat should definitely be more of a dark, vibrant tone of purple. You can just see it, it's there. I always love the way the Batman Begins cowl looks from the front in this scene. You get a real sort of distinct shape here, and the jawline kind of juts out at the sides. You don't often see it looking like that. That's what I like. It's kind of like the Michael Myers mask from '78. Never really looks the same in any two pictures, but I like that angle. I like the way it looks there. Always have. Alright folks, there's just a little look to wrap things up at my Perfect Batman Begins, which I do have two Perfect Batman Begins, but this one's just a little bit more fresh and clean and new. So I'll be using him just in this little side by side. That's the OT Customs head sculpt. It's actually a prototype, so may have changed slightly with the ones that are getting released. And yeah, they both have very similar bases here. Batman the Dark Knight version, and then Batman Bruce Wayne Batsuit Begins version. Never did like that description. It's a bit awkward sounding. But anyway folks, that is my Dark Knight for now. I'm very happy with the results. Let me know what you think in the comments, and you'll be seeing it more on the channel in the future. I do eventually want to solve the problem with the elbow pads. Maybe one day I'll be able to figure that out. I'm always thinking about it, so it would certainly be satisfying to get that fixed. But yeah, thank you for watching. Drop a like on it for me. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel and follow me on Instagram at DeanKnight333. Alright guys,